Hello, hello out there. How is everyone doing tonight? Excuse me. I'm just adjusting volume levels here, bringing us back into MetalMercs. I think that's pretty good. Let me just check. Yeah, I'll turn the music down a tad. So thank you guys for tuning in. We've got some really cool updates today, obviously. The biggest one being the reveal of the Big Daddies, the Starcrest Protectorate, coming at you, coming in hot. Somebody in the chat asked new music. Actually, there is a new tune in the game. Oh my goodness. I have this tiny nagging little cough. I'm gonna try not to let it disrupt the stream, but bear with me if you hear me. I don't know, coughing. Anyway, yeah, so there's one new tune in the game. There will be, I actually have a couple of folks who have been working diligently trying to come up with new tunes, but just a little slow going because, you know, everyone's got a day job, and the only person crazy enough to devote long stretches of their weekend solely to this is basically me. But, and I'm not a musician, but there is new music in the pipeline. There is a new song in the game, but I don't think we'll see it today, but I'll kind of explain why in a bit. First of all, just a couple of announcements to set the stage for this update. As always with these big updates, I include like a change log so you can see all the details. But one thing that I'm kind of excited about is I've made some across-the-board stability and speed and frame rate improvements to the game, which basically means in massive battles, there's virtually no slowdown anymore. And there's even an option if you want to speed up the game. So if you have a battle that's going particularly slow and you just want to kind of get through it, you can like ramp the speed of the game up now. The other sort of technology announcement is that there is now an experimental Mac build of the game. I know a few people had been asking about that. I will say the Mac build has some graphical issues and artifacts that I know about, so it's not 100% perfect where the PC and Linux versions are, but you know, it's getting there. It's getting there. So the fact that it exists, I think, is a big upgrade for us. So I'm just checking my notes here. I mean, I'll have to refer back to these as we go. There's so many new features that I can't even think of them all. It's funny because it's like I've been working on this now for another month and improving things. And so to me, it's like I can't even remember what it looked like a month ago, but there'll probably be features that even look interesting and new to you guys. So let's just go ahead and hop in and we can see where we are. So here's one little update. So if you guys remember, when you first start MetalMercs, if you have never played it before, it will prompt you and ask you if you want to play the tutorial, and you can say yes or no. And previously, that was the only time you ever got access to the tutorial, and then that was it. The tutorial now exists here when you're starting up a new campaign, so if you want to go replay it, you can. Also, the tutorial has been revamped. I want to say totally, but like it's... You know, still some of the missions are similar to what you did before, but a lot of stuff has been changed. There's actually a bit of a story in the tutorial, so it really acts like a prologue now. And if you're curious, it takes place in the year 5008, as opposed to the general starting era of 5016, which is the current playable era. So, yeah, even if you know how to play the game, yeah, I would say it's probably worth it to go check out the new tutorial / prologue when you get the game, because some stuff happens in there, and it might be worth checking out. Anyway, we obviously are going to be selecting the Starcrest Protectorate today. So these are the new guys on the block. They're the largest and poorest faction in the core, ruled by House Conan. You know, their worlds are pretty desolate, and as a result, they kind of rely on the cheapest but toughest mechs they can get their hands on, and they build, excuse me, they build oversized mechs which can punch you, which can, you know, shoot smoke and obscure the battlefield so that they can't get hit by long-range weapons temporarily. So they have a lot of little tactics up their sleeve. The unit setup screen here, as you can see, has been totally revamped. In fact, every single pilot portrait has now been updated, and you can finally actually pick your portraits, so you don't have to just hit random like you used to. So for instance, you can settle on a style. So like, let's say you sort of like bald, angry men. You've got a style here, and then you can sort of scroll through your options as to slight variations on this theme. Excuse me. Jeez. There's 10 different styles per gender. So, you know, you can be a dude, you can be a lady, and you can, you know, pick your favorite portrait. I think this was true in the previous version of the game, but it's certainly true now that the random names that you are assigned are affected by your faction. So the kinds of names you will see generated, for instance, for the Protectorate, are going to be different than the kinds of names you'd see like in the Sovereignty or in the Union. So, you know, just sort of like in the real world, if you went to a different country, there'd be different styles of names there. And yeah, there's somebody in the chat said no more jump ship. Yeah, the background has been changed here. It used to be just from the Crescent Hawk's Revenge. It was one of their jump ship scenes. But as I've always said and made no secret about, the goal is to eventually replace all that stand-in stuff with original stuff, and this is our own sort of jump ship-ish spaceship background theme for the setup. Everything else is about the same. Oh, there's this new option. So, mech modding. So by default, I mean, most people want to go in and mod their mech, so this is enabled by default. But if you want a particularly pure experience, you can actually disable this, and this turns the mod bay off in the Mech It lube, meaning that you can only use stock mechs. And when I first made MetalMercs, you know, pre-MetalMercs, I didn't have a mod bay. That came later because people kept asking for it. But you know, I spent like a year developing the game without it, and the fact that you couldn't mod mechs made me look at different Battletech mechs in different ways, and mechs that I used to completely write off, I was now like kind of contemplating. So it's like when you can't mod mechs, I think it does add some fun to the game in a different way. Like modding is super fun, but not being able to mod is something. But anyway, now it's an option, so if you want like a particularly like hardcore pure experience, you can disable the mech modding. We'll have it on today because there's a whole new mod bay and I want to show it off. But it's weird. Like, taking away a feature, you would think you definitely wouldn't want to do that, but it can be kind of fun. So I would say it's worth checking out if you're curious. But it does definitely make you reevaluate all the mechs, because no longer can you swap any weapons out you don't like. You just have to use what they've got. And so it's like some mechs that you might have written off before might be a little more appealing. Who knows? Anyway, we'll go ahead and we'll start. Oh, actually, I didn't even check my name. Winona Falcon. That's a pretty good name. I wonder if we could get more Protectorate-ish. Jocasta Lawson. Jovina Wolfga. Now that's a Protectorate name right there. All right, Jovina, let's do this. All right, so in we go. There's a whole new introduction screen here, as you can see. So there's a little bit of sort of like an advertisement, as you can see, trying to get more people to join the Discord or even join the Patreon, right? Like, this is, you know, the support for this game is fan supported right now. So we got this here to basically, you know, for people who don't know. If you click either of these links, you'll pop over to the Discord or the Patreon. But if you recall, in the previous demo, I also had this big wall of text that was like, the age of balance, blah, 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 blah. I always wanted to replace that with something cooler. And so this is basically sort of like a news story, right? It's like a newspaper. And this is basically what the future Newsnet of the game is going to look like. So in the game, when you're playing the game, if you periodically pop into the Newsnet, right now this is the only story that exists, but in future you'll see sort of like in-universe stories, and you'll hear about battles and political dealings and just things that are just happening in the universe. And so I think this is a more engaging way of trying to hit people with a bunch of exposition. They can skim it, they can just read the titles, or they can just skip it if they want. So, but largely this is similar to the information that you guys saw before. And if you do want to see the Newsnet, you know, just pop into Starcom here, and you can see the Newsnet. And again, normally there'd be more stories, but in this case, that's the only one, and more will come in future. Okay, so what do I want to show you guys first? Yeah, let's check out the new mod bay. I think you guys are gonna like this. So a lot of the stuff is, I don't think anything much has changed here. Oh, there were some bug fixes in the market here where, long story short, sometimes dragging items to buy or sell didn't work. I got that all fixed up, which was nice, because yeah, that was a pain in the butt for a bug. But anyway, I present to you the new mod bay. So gone are the boring text, and gone are the fact that there is no critical hit locations for any of the units. So previously, you know, the biggest autocannon, or Vulcan cannon, I should say, and the smallest laser took up the same single spot. And this was true even back when this was a BattleTech game, right? Like, you could have an autocannon, you could have 6 autocannon 20s in like one location. Didn't really make a lot of sense. I knew I didn't want to just basically sort of copy exactly how BattleTech did it, and I've thought of hard points and stuff, but basically, if you watch my channel, you know there's a game out there that I played relatively recently that I love called Backpack Hero, which basically has sort of a grid-based system, and you can like drag and drop items around in your backpack, and they affect different items and stuff. So now basically this is how the mod bay works. You can hover over an item if you want to get detailed information about it. You can just click it and drag it and drop it where you want it. If you hover over a weapon that uses ammo, it will highlight also, you can see the dotted lines there, the ammo units that it is accessing. If you hover over ammo, you can see which weapons it's contributing to. And generally, this is just a much more streamlined, better way, I think, of presenting the mech. And somebody in the chat says, look at the new background art. The mech in the background is the speed shop new. Yes. Yeah, so this is actually modeled. If you go back to the original BattleTech version of this game, I did have like a Crescent Hawks Inception screenshot, because in the Crescent Hawks Inception, there's like a mech test you have to take, and it shows you a mech schematic, and I had that behind the crit hit locations in the mod bay in that version, but I took it out when I rebranded it MetalMercs because, you know, again, I'm trying to move away from the crutch of just stealing everything from an 80s BattleTech game. But I always thought it would be cool to sort of bring it back in. So yeah, now we have like mech models. And right now every mech uses the exact same model. I might change that in future, but for now it's, you know, it elevates it to the point where I need it to be, and so I'm not going to spend too much more time on it right now because there's so many other things to work on. But anyway, yeah, so you can sort of see at a glance, and so different weapons have different dimensions too. So that's the thing, right? Like, so now we do have crit hit slots, and like certain weapons can fit in certain areas. But for instance, rockets tend to go vertical, missile launchers tend to go horizontal, and then the biggest guns, I don't think oh yeah, here's one, an Ultra Vulcan. This is a 2x2. Right now, this is the biggest weapon. I don't know if I'll make ones bigger than this, but right now that's the biggest. But yeah. Anyway, okay, I don't think we're actually going to mod anything right now. I can briefly show you the weapons in the mod bay, the kind of the newest weapons. We have the smoke shot, which you've seen, which you've seen in the preview trailer. This thing is a lot of fun, and so we're going to see this in action, obviously. The rocket boosted battle fists. Now, these are like sort of the melee weapons from BattleTech, where the heavier the mech, the more damage the battle fist does. Also, here's a kind of a cool fact, is that now all mechs have melee attacks. The melee attacks for mechs that aren't mounting battle fists are significantly weaker. So I think the melee attacks in MetalMercs are actually weaker than in BattleTech. It's like the heaviest mech. Its melee attack is about as powerful as like a medium laser in MetalMercs. So it's nothing too substantial, but it does mean if your mechs are totally run out of ammo, they got nothing going on, you can at least defend yourself a little bit, you know? So yeah, so everyone has a melee attack, but I mean, nobody does it better than the Protectorate. They got their battle fists, and the battle fists, they sort of slide across the battlefield at enemies, which is kind of fun. Okay. Oh, and in the bottom, you might be noticing there's little announcements and stuff here. The Union views you negatively. The Sovereignty views you very negatively. These are little pop-up notifications now. The Protectorate views you very positively. In future, right now, these only come up the very first time you load the game, and they say things like, you know, contracts are available at Starcom, pilots are looking to be recruited at the bar, you know, need repairs, come to the Mech at Lube. So there's a couple of things you'll see here, like little in-game ads. In future, when there are news stories, when you land on a new planet, you might see a few pop-ups of just headlines of some news that's happening. And then if there's any other announcements, like the Protectorate has decided you are an enemy, that might pop up here. So those notifications right now, they only appear in when you first start the game, but I got plans for them in future to expand them. Oh, and somebody asks in the chat, new mods. So currently there's no new mods at the moment. I think there were a couple mods that were a little bugged last time, and a few of them have been fixed. My big task with tackling the mods is going to come with the Games of Titan. Basically the next demo that's going to come out. And that one, I'm anticipating, you know, maybe in December at some time that thing will go out. I'm trying to give myself time to space these out a bit because of, you know, realism, because you know, schedules and stuff. But also, I've known for a long time that I want to kind of like tweak and do a little bit more with the mods and also fix any bugs that are in there. And so I'm going to kind of tackle that all with the Titan demo. And you know, whatever. Here's a little preview. Right now, no enemies really use mods, but one of the things that you'll eventually see in the arenas of Titan is that you're fighting against other like gladiators and mercs like yourself, and they've pimped out and modded their units too. So they're going to be using the very mods that you're currently using to get advantages on the battlefield. So yeah, so I'll be doing a lot more with the mods at that point. Anyway, let's take a contract here. Let's get things going. And I'm going to try and keep the combat stuff relatively simple today. And mostly just so I can show stuff off to you guys. So, first of all, by the way, you'll notice in the contracts, you don't get any advance with the Protectorate. Basically, they don't pay you until the job's done. And their per mission pay is like pretty weak, actually. So you may say, why would you ever work for them? And it's generally because they're offering you pretty good salvage, and they usually have pretty good deployment limits, especially in terms of size. So essentially this means that when you do go into battle, you're probably going to be packing like medium mechs against light mechs, or heavy mechs against medium mechs, or assault mechs against medium and heavy mechs. So basically, you're going to be overclassed, and you'll get a chance to sort of pummel your enemies a little bit. Okay, I'll take this one. Why not? Let's see what they're willing to negotiate. All right, they'll pay me a bit more. I wish I could get a few more salvage tokens, though, actually. Okay, I'll do that. You've agreed to the terms, you have the mission. All right, in we go. All right. So the Beast is kind of a fun new mech. Obviously, it's almost sort of like a Hunchback with a Battle Fist. So maybe you could think of it as like the Protector's version of a Hunchback. We got an Instigator. So some mechs in the Protectorate are just heavy and they don't necessarily have a Battle Fist or Smoke Shot. I will say, as fun as Smoke Shots are, it's like they're better for certain kinds of missions. Like if you're trying to chase down enemy mechs, like for instance an intercept mission, you probably don't want your smoke shots on, so you would turn them off on that mission because you don't want to obscure your own vision while you're trying to chase down enemies. But like if it is a full-scale battle or something like that, or a defense mission is another one where you might want it off because the enemies are going to be coming to you anyway, so you kind of don't want to necessarily obscure your own vision of them. But the Reaver is a mech I quite like. It's one of their lighter ones, Battle Fist and Smoke Shot. And then it only has 2 weapons, but the Battle Fist helps make up for it a bit. We'll also take a Jackal. That doesn't have a Battle Fist, but has more weapons. And by the way, this is the Starcrest Protectorate's Scout Mech. What is this, like 400 tons? Yeah, a 400-ton mech that moves at speed 6. This is their fastest mech. We'll bring it along for funsies. It's pretty heavily armed for its, what it's supposed to be, but and yeah, so people are talking about sovereignty hates pummeling their enemies with fists. Yeah. So the Protectorate is almost like a direct response to the sovereignty, like they share their border with them, and yeah. Oh, I can take a few more units. I definitely should do that. How about let's bring an Instigator. We'll bring one of every mech I've got, and a Harbinger. Harbinger's got Battle Fists too. Cool. All right. Somebody says, what's the Protectorate's special mech design quirk? Do they get extra armor? Their design quirk is they tend to field slower engines, and with that reduction in speed, they pack on extra armor. So engine speed and armor is something you can't mod. So if you're looking for more heavily armored mechs for a particular weight class, you go with the Protectorate. The Smoke Shot is something that's built in that can't be removed or added to other mechs, so that's kind of a perk of some Protectorate mechs. The same with the Battle Fist. That can't be added to non-Protectorate mechs, it just comes with the mech. But then their other perk is that their lightest mech is a 400-tonner, their heaviest mech is a 1,200-tonner, and that is the heaviest mech in existence. Every other house caps out at 1,000 tons, so they have 1,200 tons. So we'll see that one today. It's one of my faves from the old Protectorate. All right, so here these bad boys are. So the smoke shots are just like any other weapon. You can turn them on or off if you want. I'm trying to think of what's new here. You can like hover over a lot more stuff than you used to be able to. So previously you know, you'd see your pilot and you would have no idea what their specialties are once you got into combat. Now you can hover over. You can hover over all these things to get details too. So that is, and believe that's an addition that we made this past month. Oh yeah, and somebody said planetary conditions. Yep. So now when you're on a planet that has hot temperature or cool temperature, you'll see that. So hot temperature, your heat sinks are less efficient. Cool, they're more efficient. Gravity, this right now is always normal, but in future there will be heavy and light gravity, or low G and high G. And one of the things I'm thinking about for that is, like, in low G environments, the biggest mechs get a speed advantage because they're low. They don't weigh as much, right? So their huge engines are able to move them. So, you know, temperature right now, a hot planet might make you reevaluate what kinds of mechs you want to bring in terms of their, you know, heat output, or a cool planet might. But gravity, I hope, will also be a factor where it's like, hey, if you're in a low gravity environment, you should just bring the heaviest mechs you got because they'll move faster than normal. So yes. Oh, somebody said, will there be more conditions like light? That is one that would be cool. I've often thought of like nighttime or even rain. That may come at some point. It isn't probably going to come in like the next update or two, but never say never, I guess. Oh, and by the way, if you're wondering what this 1x is, this is the speed option. So you can go up to 4 speed, or you can go down to like 0.25 speed. So if you really want to, like, you know, micromanage a battle while it's happening, you can. And if you want to go up to like 4x speed, you can. Okay. I shouldn't have done that though when I want to show off the smoke bursts. So these guys all fired their smoke bursts, which created these smoke clouds. You can see now they're in the clouds. When a unit is in a smoke cloud, it cannot be indirectly targeted. So if an enemy is here targeting you and there's an enemy over here with missiles, they're not allowed to fire at you while you're in the smoke because it scrambles the target lock. Also, you know, if a unit is like deep in the smoke, it won't be visible. So the smoke kind of acts like forest tiles, where if there's enough smoke tiles between you and an enemy, they can't see you. Enemies on the units on the edge, like these guys here, would all be visible. If there were enemies here, they would see them. But I don't think they would see this guy. He might be deep enough in. The smoke lasts for about 8 to 12 seconds, so it's not a ton of time, but it's sometimes like just enough to allow you to close range with enemies or like avoid their fire. It sometimes just splits the battlefield up in an interesting way, which can be handy. So those were the smoke grenades. See, firing off there, and it kind of like, you know, separates out the battlefield. And you can see it already fades away. So with the smoke, like, it's a cool mechanic. I definitely like it. I feel like it's at a good place. We'll see, you know, when you guys are playing it, maybe we'll ultimately decide it's a little OP or a little underpowered. But it doesn't last a ton. It doesn't last forever, right? But now it's like my back is covered because I got enough smoke there, so I don't have to worry about guys getting me until I stepped out of the smoke, of course. Now I'm getting indirectly fired. Let's try and get a battle fist to go off. I guess I'm fighting a bunch of light mechs, so it's a little pathetic for them. Yeah, I think they're just gonna go down. Oh, I think he did a melee attack there. Oh well, whatever, we killed him. I'll take it. Oh, and nothing great for salvaging either. I think I want to save my salvage rights. All these menus, by the way, have been updated to try to reduce their lag and stuff. So I don't know if you saw when I clicked on the reserve units, the sort of rendering happened asynchronously. That was something I tried to add to just sort of generally speed up and make things more smooth. So little behind the scenes stuff. Okay, I guess I'm just not gonna... I'll save my salvage. Oh, also you may notice, if you've played a lot of the game, you probably know what the battle setup music sounds like, so you can hear it in the background. The fella who made this originally for me came in and extended it. So rather than having like 30 seconds, now it's like almost 2 minutes. which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's like it adds variety in the background, so it, you know, sounds a little different when you play the new version. By the way, speaking of hovering over, like you can hover over your pilots even when they're assigned to like see their abilities and skill levels and stuff. And you can hover over weapons here. You can also hover over like armor to see like the specific amount of armor damage they've taken and how much they have left. Same with internals. You can hover over like all this stuff got little tooltips. I think, does this have one? These might not yet. You can't hover over weapons here for a technical reason, but anyway, a lot of other stuff. You know, basically just all sorts of little tiny features to make it easier to see what's going on. Easier on the newbies, hopefully. Hopefully things are getting more and more intuitive as we go, so that people who play it for the first time, who haven't seen it before, you know, they're enjoying it. Oh yeah, and also, I guess I didn't comment on this. Right, here's some new mech sprites. One of the things I'm going to be working on between now and the Titan update is even more. I guess this is the only one with updated. There's a couple units in the game that now have updated sprites. I'm not 100% sure if these are even finalized, but it's like, this is the direction that we're probably going. So rather than being super blocky like this, we're going to start to go in a slightly more updated style. So yeah, anyway. All right, this time we got to intercept some fools. So interception missions are actually a little challenging for the Protectorate because their mechs are so slow and they don't really have long-range weapons. So we'll see how this goes. I am actually going to turn off all my smoke shots though, because they probably do more harm than good in this scenario. Okay, and actually where are they even? Okay, the enemy's trying to get way up there or over here. I guess I should be more up this way. Can also kind of keep an eye out for their, oh yeah, there they are. Oh man, they're bolting. Okay, well one's definitely escaping. That guy's gone. I'm gonna have to rely on overwhelming firepower to take out this other guy. Come on, Protectorates. Get him. Get him. And he is gone. Rockets, by the way, have smoke trails now. I don't know if you guys noticed that. God damn it. We're almost definitely failing this intercept. So, intercepts, I think, are probably easiest for the Imperium because they have the fastest mechs. And the Sovereignty is not bad because they have all those long-range weapons. But yeah, for the Protectorate, it's just sort of like, it's not good. They're just, it's not their forte. Give them a base assault or a base defense and they will rock it. But yeah. Here's one other fun little addition I made. When you are taking contracts against enemy houses, we've already failed, in fact. When you are taking contracts against enemy houses, the enemy houses will tweak their forces based on which house it is you're facing off against. Oh, there was a battle fist right there. You saw that guy sort of boost into that other guy. It didn't do anything for us because they're still getting away. But anyway, for instance, if you take a contract against the Protectorate, you will face slightly fewer enemies than you normally would on any given contract, but you will face slightly heavier enemies. Damn it, we lost. If you take a contract against the Imperium, you will face slightly more well-trained enemies than you normally would. So their pilots will have slightly higher skills than should be the case for any particular contract. If you fight the Union, they end up fielding a couple extra units because they're good at logistics. And I forget if the Sovereignty has any particular perks. I think they end up being in the middle compared to everyone else, so they don't really change too much. So anyway, just sort of a little addition. Also, something I totally forgot. Anyway, we failed that mission. That sucks. Let's we didn't take down a single enemy. I feel impotent. We might as well repair our mechs up though. take the repairs while we got them, right? Yeah, at this point, we're pretty good. I guess we can use internal components here. There we go. Oh, and there's a new contract failed and contract success screen. So here's the contract failed. You actually see like what mission you failed on, how far you got, and you get this nice self-esteem boosting red bolded message about how you are a failure. And we came to Nordra. Okay, so this is another Protectorate planet. Here's one thing, a new feature. You guys might like this. Screen resolutions, here you go. For the longest time, this game was 1280 by 720 because that's how I started it. And for a long time, I really dragged my feet about doing anything about this because the way the game engine was written is I never intended it to be anything more than this. So I was like, man, I'm going to have to rewrite all sorts of stuff. Anyway, I found an actual simple way to change this. And so now you can go all the way up to 1920 by 1080. I think right now I'm playing it on either this or this. Forget what I've got it set to. But anyway, whatever resolution you select, you have to exit the game and come back in. It'll tell you, right? So if you select this, so restart the game for it to take effect. So nothing will happen in the moment, but if you quit the game and come back, then the resolution will be upgraded. I'm going to switch it back to what I was, I believe, using. But anyway, yeah, if you've got a bigger monitor, this should definitely help. I can totally add even larger resolutions if people want. But 1080p seemed pretty good for now, at least as a max. But yeah, okay. So let's. Should we try one more mission here? I should say the Protectorate's also not great at military escort. I mean, they kind of are, as long as you can keep up. But let's see here. Let's see what kind of mechs they've got. The Beast, the Harbinger. Okay. One thing I want to do early on here is I want to... actually, I don't need that on. I just want money. You guys didn't see nothing. All right, there we go. We got some money. Nothing below board happened there. That was totally legit. I got a grant from my deceased grandfather. All right, let's travel to Core Hall for a second here. See if we can find some heavy mechs. Yeah, my Patreon donations just came in. That's what somebody... yeah. Sweet. Thanks, guys. 5 million K. You guys. Okay, so let's grab some of their bigger mechs just for funsies. Just robbed a Sovereignty Bank. That works too. So the Infernal, this one's kind of a fun mech. It's like a beastly mech full of Scorchers. Oh, so Tortures were renamed Scorchers in this version. For no other reason than just the word torture sounds like literally like torture. And it was fine. Like, I actually didn't mind the name, but then somebody was like, you know, are there any other names we could use? And I thought about it. I was like, oh, Scorcher. And I was like, ooh, I kind of like that a little better. And then it doesn't, if you're talking to your friends and you're like, I'm really into torture, you know, like they're not going to think you're weird anymore. So anyway, slightly changed there. Any good crew? The Black Baron. Carlon Windward. Get in here. Nobody else. Okay, I'm going to check another planet or two because I would like to get the big boy mechs. Should I check? I'll check Smokefall. See what we got. Trade some metal. Oh, here we go. We hit the mother load. All right, here it is. The biggest mech we got, the Ragnarok. We're gonna take it. We also got a couple brute machines, which I quite enjoy. They're pretty solid mechs. Infernal, we got a Thunder God. We got a Neanderthal, which is kind of cool. Dual high energy cannons, battle fist, and auto guns. Take it. Okay, that was actually a good haul. Let's repair these guys up. Boom. We leave the light mechs because we don't need light mechs. I'm calling a 600-ton mech a light mech. We don't buy light mechs in our we're true Protectorate citizens. So here we can check out some of these mechs here. Here's the Ragnarok. So this thing is beefed out. Couple of heavy Vulcan cannons. It's got a heavy Scorcher. Oh yeah, we redid the graphics on the Scorcher. I should bring this guy in. You guys will like the new graphics. They're pretty cool. Heavy high energy cannon, heavy auto gun, and a couple of lasers for backup. Doesn't punch, but it hits hard. Brute Machine's pretty cool too. This one's got your Ultra Vulcan. And then got a bunch of machine guns and battle fists and stuff. Little itty bitty rocket launcher, just for fun. Here's your, oh, we'll bring an Infernal in. We'll definitely see the new Scorcher animations with the Infernal. Then we got your Thunder God, classic cannon and high energy cannon combo. Caliber and energy, I guess, I don't know. And the Neanderthal. So yeah, lots of fun mechs. Anyway, let's grab another contract while we're here and test these bad boys out. You know what? I'm gonna go, since we have a bunch of heavy mechs, I'm gonna go more to the fringe here and hopefully try and get, who should we fight? Why don't we see if we can pick a fight with the Sovereignty? You know, they got all the money. Let's take it from them. Seems only fair. All right, Starcrest Protectorate versus the Helios Sovereignty. This is a very lopsided mission. It's like, it's almost better to fail the first one. I kind of wonder, it might be cool to see a giant battle. All right, let's do that. Let's intentionally, we're gonna go in and intentionally gonna sabotage ourselves, but we want to get over here. There's tons of salvage on this though, holy God. And actually the money's pretty good. All I really want is more units on the battlefield. Let's see what they say. All right, done. We're sold, man. All right, we got to rearrange this. One thing, I think this was in the previous demo, but now is much more streamlined, is you can like actually drag units out after they've been assigned. I'm pretty sure that was in the previous demo, but it was a little laggy. I managed to get it running quite a bit smoother now. And if you didn't notice lag, then it's going to run even more smooth now for you. So there you go. Actually, I'm going to cluster these guys in terms of who has a Battle Fist and who doesn't. So, okay, here's my non-Battle Fist crew. The Ragnarok, Infernals, and Thunder God. And then we're going to have some Brute Machines. And a Neanderthal. I can bring in one more guy. Well, we need a scout. So let's bring in our 400-ton War Dog. And are any of my pilots good with... You know, I was going to say light mechs, but I even think this might count as medium. I don't think I have any pilots that specialize in that anyway. Like, normally you would go through and actually assign people based on their specialties. I'm completely ignoring that now, playing very sloppily, but... I mean, we all know you guys are better at this game than me. I just make it. I don't actually play this game. No, I'm just joking. I do, but... I spend a lot more time making it too, actually, but... I like both sides. It's fun to play. Alright, defend the target. No thanks. In fact, actually, I don't know if you guys know this, but you can actually target the building you're supposed to defend. See a building, and even the turrets join in. They're like, oh, you found a target. Let me help you. So, down goes that building. I like how we're like firing smoke bursts, like... I guess it gives us plausible deniability, because then the Protectorate won't know that we destroyed the building we were supposed to defend. So now I am kind of wondering if oh no. I'm gonna say now I was slightly worried maybe the units won't spawn. So here's a case where I'm gonna speed the game up a bit to 2 times speed to try and catch these guys. No, chase them. Oh no, my scout's going down. Alright, well down he goes. Okay, we can get this guy. Alright, buddy. You wandered into the wrong part of town, friend. Oh, there's another mech over here. Excalibur got away. Well. Oh, he's going around the other way. You sneaky bastard. Where are they trying to escape to? Over here? I'm gonna speed it up a bit. The actual speed up feature is quite handy when you have slow mechs, and it's like, you know... Oh, we just failed. Okay. Well, that's okay. We wanted to do that. That was a failure by choice. We'd even just go ahead and straight up take a Protector if we wanted. But I don't think it's heavy enough. We're not interested. We definitely don't need any repairs. I'm gonna... Ooh, actually this... whatever. We have replacement war dogs. I'm gonna save my tokens because I want to see what comes out of that big battle. Because maybe... Like, look at this. This is what the Protectorate is looking for. A big fight. And we don't bring scouts on big fights. I guess we have to bring a light mech or two, so we'll bring this light beast. I don't like bringing light mechs into battle, but you do what you gotta do, I guess. Alright, win the battle. Sage advice. Instigator, Razorback. Ooh, the Razorback's kind of a cool mech. I think I showed this one off in the... Did I show this off in the video? The announcement video? Anyway, it's kind of a cool mech. Instigator. What else is... Oh, an Infernal. Ooh, and a Berserker. This one's kind of cool. It's sort of like, what's that Battletech mech that's like an assault mech, but he just runs in. He's really fast for an assault mech. What the hell is the name? Challenger, no. Something, I don't know. Similar to that. But he's a Berserker. He goes in... Charger, that's it. Thank you, chat. Yeah, similar to the Charger, only with the Protectorate's flare. Smoke Shot and Battle Fist. He does it up a little bit more. Oh, and I still have the timing enhanced. I'm gonna reduce that. I might even slow it down to really slow so that we can see the new Scorcher. But oh yeah, this is how you avoid that pesky sovereignty missiles. Everyone stay in the smoke. Force them to close ranks. There you go. Then when they least suspect it. Oh, there was a sweet Battle Fist. Okay, where's... Oh, my other guys aren't even engaging. Alright, you guys, if you could engage, that'd be nice. There we go. Keep the battlefield nice and obscure, boys. I think the sovereignty's trying to stay out of it, but... Okay, let's see if we can... I'm gonna slow it down a little. And let's find a, here's an Infernal. When he fires his Scorcher, it'll look like a spout of flame. There it is. So there's the new Scorcher animation. And there's a different one for heavy Scorchers. See if I can get him in close range so he'll start using them. Come on. Get closer. Oh, I got an ammo explosion. When you have an ammo explosion, you get little explosions all over your mech like popcorn now. Which is what I always intended. You'll notice the rockets, their flame trails should be more animated now. Okay, I can't get close enough for the heavy Scorcher. The Scorchers changed a little from the last demo. They now have a slightly shorter range, but they recharge faster. So they're basically just slightly even closer range weapons, but when you get in that close range, they fire pretty relentlessly. Similar to autoguns, but autoguns are a little more medium range-ish, almost. Anyway, we can speed this up a bit. We don't have to do this slowly. Here, I'll even show you how fast I got the engine running. We can go up to 4 times speed if we want. There, that's the battle. Okay, I'm gonna slow it down though so we can actually savor it. Also, I feel like, are we doing very well? I haven't been focus firing enemies down, but... Okay, I'm going to start using some strategy here. I was too busy, like, showcasing the mechs. Oh god, the Sovereignty is actually owning me. No! Not my Ragnarok! Not the rock! Oh, they took it down. Okay. Turns out the Sovereignty, even with the smoke shots and battle fists, the Sovereignty might have a few tricks up their sleeve. I'm gonna see what I can do to... Oh, I love when the battle fist, when you just really slide across the battlefield. Here's a fun fact. Have you guys ever seen The Edge of Tomorrow? With Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt. It's a very good sci-fi movie, very fun. There is a scene in that movie after Tom Cruise gets really trained up where he's piloting the exosuit, and he does this move where he like slides across the battlefield and like just slams his fist into an enemy mimic, killing it. That was basically the inspiration for the battle fist. I quite like that movie, and that move just always was like in my head as like, man, that's such a cool move. And when I was kind of thinking about how melee would work in this game, I'm like, oh man, like there should be like that should be how it works, you know? Like if you're gonna punch someone, accelerate yourself with like rockets or something. So yeah, anyway, I think we've lost this battle. Pro tip, when you're fighting the Sovereignty, don't fuck around. Don't treat it as a showcase match and get owned. Oh god. Well, 2 for 2. We failed both of the missions of that contract. Somebody said buy more mechs. Let's do that. Now, if you did succeed in a mission, you'll see like little green squares that will highlight the whole like train of like where you went. So the mission map now sort of updates dynamically, so you can kind of see the history of what you did. But again, we need to actually succeed in a mission before we see that. Okay, I'm gonna just patch my rigs. See. Buy another Ragnarok if we wanted. Oh yeah, and when you click to drag items now, before it just said their name, now you see like a little icon. That's true over here too, like if you're buying, and it says buy, so you can like see what you're doing. So like if you buy that, or if you're gonna sell this. And same with mods. Although for mods, they just have this placeholder equip icon, except... I was gonna say, the cooling units. I made a very pathetic ice cube as a stand-in icon for them. But yeah, we'll take a Ragnarok, take a Brute Machine. Why not? Take a Reaver. Reavers are actually pretty good in large numbers. Repair all my mechs. Okay. I'm gonna pop over to a slightly different planet. You know what? Why don't we try our luck against the Union? Turns out the Sovereignty are dicks. We all knew that. Somebody said pretty much every faction is bad news to fight in full-scale engagement except for the Imperium. That's true. The Imperium is designed for elegance, not a straight-up fight. They're the one house that doesn't bring it. Everyone else brings it in different ways. This temporary harassment, distracting raid, elimination of local garrison. These are like high star. I'm gonna go slightly lower star. I know even cheating, I'm kind of like hedging my bets, but ooh, we'll get a couple more Reavers. We'll patch them up. Okay, let's try our luck at Skyreach. Somebody said the 9 mech limit was hurting me. Yeah, that's true. So the Protectorate, when you do, I think I already said this, but when you do negotiate contracts with them, the weight limit, the size is usually good or oversized, but the number is usually undersized. So it's actually a little tough to get the Protectorate to deploy 12, to allow you to deploy 12 units, because they're just not as good at logistics as other houses. But they're good with heavy mechs, so it's like that's why the size is usually not an issue. But yeah, if I could have taken 12 mechs in, that would have helped me a lot. And truthfully, I wasn't focus firing or like paying attention to my units. Like, if you do focus fire in a battle, it makes a huge difference as opposed to just letting units fire willy-nilly. So it's you know, I mean, there's no one to blame but me. Okay, elimination of light patrol forces. And, okay, we can't do another interception. This one, okay, destruction of an ammo dump and eliminating patrol forces. That I would do. That I would do. Done. They even let me bring in more mechs and heavier mechs. And let's see if there's anyone cool to hire. Anyone want to join the crew? Ada Reed. Yeah, Ida Reed. High energy cannons and heavy weapons. That's a good skill set in the Protectorate. No one else. Anything fun? Yeah, I'm not going to read those to you guys. You can read them if you're curious. I don't know why I looked at that. I don't know. I'm curious of my own game, of what I wrote in there like a month ago. Okay. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 light mechs and 2 medium mechs. And I'm going to bring in 2 of the heaviest mechs in existence. And a Thunder God. And a Neanderthal. And 4 Brute Machines. Imagine being on the receiving end of this mission. Oh, we're overweight. Okay, you know what? Actually, I don't even need the Neanderthal. It's just overkill. I'll just leave it at that. I'll bring in 7 units. Imagine you were the mercenary who took the contract and you're like, well, I have 2 medium mechs and like a oversized scout squad. That should be good. I'll defend this this little outpost here. And then suddenly there's puffs of smoke on the horizon and you see some of the biggest mechs in existence lumbering towards you. That's when you surrender on the spot and flee for the sake of your children and your children's children. But boy, is this going to be fun. Let's get some. I'm not even going to speed it up this time. I want to really savor this battle. Well, maybe I'll speed it up if it doesn't pick up soon, but... yeah, so as I said earlier, there is a mech, or a Mac build of this game now. I had been dragging my feet on it for the longest time because, truthfully, I'm not a Mac guy. I am, like, borderline incompetent. No, actually, I take it back. I am incompetent on a Mac. Even their file system, I don't fully understand. I'm like a PC and Linux guy. It's like those are the systems I know. So, as I say, the Mac build will be released along with the Windows and Linux build, but the Mac build is listed as experimental, and it is... There's a note that, you know, it has known graphical issues, so, you know, sort of play at your own risk, although there's no risk, but it's just... It's very playable. The whole core game should work fine. But, like, for instance, when you succeed at a mission, that mission accomplished sign does not come up. You still see everything else, but mission accomplished doesn't appear. There's some graphical glitches with, like, when weapons fire and stuff, so, you know, has a few issues. It's not ready for Steam yet, but what is? Alright. Let's take this stupid building down, whatever the hell it is. Enemy reinforcements are inbound, eh? Well, you know what? I don't even have to flee. I gladly fight them. I challenge them. Trial by combat. Somebody said since the Protectorate are kind of basic style mechs, will they be lower on the cost spectrum? Yes, actually, they are. Yeah, and that's a good question. So mechs have sort of an inbuilt cost to them based on their size and slightly from the region that they're in, but then most of their cost comes from the equipment they use, and the Protectorate tends to use cannons and auto guns and stuff like that, like cheap weapons. They don't use too many, they don't use missile launchers or Mac guns or anything like that, so even the Ragnarok, even though it's huge, and it isn't a cheap mech, it's certainly cheap for its size, if that makes sense. So, somebody says I'm asking for more controller support. If it supports Linux, I can get it run on the Steam Deck. Yeah, you know what? So here's a fun fact. I don't have a Steam Deck, but I have a Legion Go pre-ordered. That's going to be coming at the end of October. I'm quite excited about it. I've never done sort of like PC mobile gamings before. Oh, this is so annoying. I can't catch these guys because they're too light and they're just going to pepper me from a distance. So it's part of being a Protectorate mech. Shaka Caudalas new rocket graphics. Yep, the graphics for all the weapons have gotten, well, not every weapon, but some weapons have received a little upgrade. The rockets now have a vapor trail when they fire, so you can sort of see their wavy motion more. Oh, where am I going? I'm supposed to exit over here. Typical Protectorate mechs. They're a little dense. Oh, you wandered into the kill zone, buddy. Why would you do that? Anyway, yeah, I have a Legion Go coming. When I have the Legion Go in my hands, I might try running this on it. And once I have that and I can test more with it, I mean, I have an Xbox controller. I could test it just on the PC. But I don't know how this will translate to controller. I've thought of it before, but I mean, it's really a mouse game. But I'll explore. It probably, truthfully, is not going to be the highest priority for me. But it might be something that I can at least add in a basic sense relatively easily, and then if I can, I'll put it in, because the more ways to play this, the better, I think. So, yeah. Oh, do I want to salvage anything? We have one more mission, right? One thing I like about the Protectorate is that, I mean, I have a few scratches of internal damage, but nothing major, almost no armor damage. The kind of nice thing about them is as long as you are going into decent missions, you almost don't even need repairs between missions. So I'm even going to just not even bother with armor, nothing. Let's go right into the... Oh, I feel a little guilty. 4 itty-bitty light mechs in the wrong corner of the core. I feel bad, but not bad enough not to do what I'm gonna do, which is crush them. And here you can see temperature is cold, so you know, heat dissipation is getting a boost right now. Let's actually use the speed up so that we can actually sort of close some distance here a little bit. I think the speed up helps a little bit when you have these really big maps and you're trying to find the enemy, because it allows you to sort of, even with slow mechs, close some terrain. And I mean, nobody likes to just sit there for like 10 minutes for no reason looking for enemy mechs. It can be frustrating, I know, so hopefully the speed up helps with that. With the smoke shots, by the way, I don't know if you guys have been noticing, but they kind of fire in a semi-random pattern, and the way the AI works is as soon as they spot an enemy, they will fire a smoke shot, and the smoke shots have a very long cooldown. It's like 28 seconds. So it takes quite a while before the next volley goes, but then when it's ready, even if an enemy is close, they'll still fire it. And sometimes at that point, just overshooting the enemy. But what that does is it kind of creates a bubble of smoke between where you and your enemy are nearby, but then people who are outside the range who might have been peppering you with shots, now they don't have a line of sight on you. So it ends up, it's a fairly simple AI as it turns out, but it ends up being fairly effective on the battlefield. And something else you saw, if you have too many mechs with smoke shots, sometimes some of the smoke shots get wasted, because if you have like 8 mechs and they all fire their smoke shots all at once, then it's like the first 3 mechs might have created enough smoke to cover most of your little zone, but then if you've got 5 other mechs firing, and it adds almost no extra smoke. So it's sort of like, you can have as many smoke shots as you want, but you do get diminishing returns if your units are bunched up and they're all just firing together. Oh, I should actually salvage stuff. No mechs to salvage, though. That sucks. And I guess I'll just salvage this stuff, but to say I did. There's not even any, like, repairs or anything. Sad. And now you get a much clearer, you know, you beat this contract, you see the final fulfillment, and when I click finish, you'll see, like, the pop-up, you know, money over here. So it's, you know, I added a whole bunch of little flourishes to try to make things more just more apparent. Somebody said, could stagger smoke shots? Yes, you can. So when a smoke shot fires, it fires 3 grenades all at once. So you can't stagger that. But what you could do is you could turn off the smoke shot weapons on some of your mechs and hold them in reserve and let other mechs do the smoke shot firing. So you're totally in control of that. It's just if you do nothing, your pilots aren't smart enough to make that kind of leap themselves. Let me just, I want to check my notes real quick, because I know I've been telling you guys all sorts of different features, but I'm just trying to think if there's anything else major that I haven't mentioned. So modding bay, we already covered that. Scorchers, tooltips. Oh, I didn't draw attention to this, but your character now, like your dude, like when we created our character, it was Jovina Wolfga, and your character is highlighted in gold in your crew lists. If you like select them, you can see that she's got a little gold outline around her. This is just a really minor thing, so that after you create your character and start your mercenary career, you don't ever forget like who you are and like who the commander is. And it doesn't do too much other than that, but just another minor thing that we added here. Pop-up notifications, we talked about that. I gave Imperium contracts a small boost because I heard they were being too cheap when people first started to work for them. Vulcan cannons got a little bit of a recycle boost, meaning they recharge a little faster. Yeah, I think that's largely it. I also have a list of boring stuff that I upgraded. Oh, you know how you can zoom in and out during battle with the mouse wheel? You can also use page up and page down now. So that's something. I think that was in the last demo too. Sorry, just skimming through here. I think that's about it. Oh, the battle escape menu's changed a bit. I'll show you guys that. It's a little different. Yeah. Okay, those are all the main things. Let's go into battle one more time. Somebody asked in the chat, are the smoke shot weapon slots? Yes. So, yeah, I can even show you. So if we go into the mod bay here, so here's our Ragnarok. So the smoke shot here is a weapon. It's actually a weapon you can't remove. So the smoke shots are kind of like built into the Protectorate mechs that have them. In battle, it shows up in your list of weapons. You can toggle it on and off. It comes with 4 rounds, 4 clusters built in every battle. You can't add extra ammo to that, mostly because it's a balance issue, because I don't want... The smoke shots are supposed to be like good early on to kind of get you in range, but then not something that, you know, you just continually use endlessly. So they're sort of like a small early advantage is what they're meant to be. But their ammo is internal, so it doesn't take up 2 slots, it's just 1. But yeah, they act as weapons. So, I mean, that's another thing with these Protectorate mechs is, you know, like the Brute Machine, you can change all of its weapons. You could turn it into a long-range behemoth if you want, but you're always losing some tons to the Battle Fist. And it's sort of like, I mean, it's there. If you never use it, it's on you. You're kind of wasting it. But, yeah, so the Protectorate mechs, a lot of them really shine when you do use them for their intended purpose. But I mean, you have ones like the Infernal. It has a smoke shot you can never take off, but then other than that, it's pretty open. Something else I just thought of. Hold on, let me buy a few mods. I'm just gonna buy all these mods. Oh, there you guys, you saw the ice cube here. I'll show you. So let's say we want to mod our Ragnarok here. So here's my large cooling unit, by the way. So it's just a giant ice cube. But yeah, so, you know, the mods now themselves will you know, can be placed, and they will, you know, in the same way that if you highlight a weapon, you can see its ammo. If you highlight ammo, you can see what weapons you can use it. If you have something like a fast feeder, this affects cannons. So as soon as I start dragging it in, you can see the cannons are both highlighted. And if I drop this now here, you can see that the fast feeder affects this cannon, but not the other one. So equipment only affects things that are in the same like overall part of the body that they are in. Fast ion charger, this affects the high energy cannon. So if we come over here, we drop it, now we can see it's affecting it. Also notice that the effect of this is it gives you slightly faster recycle time and more heat. And if you go over to the high energy cannon, you can see right now it reloads in 2 seconds, but it generates 27 heat units. If I take this out of there, now you can see the heat is down to 20 and it's no longer highlighted in red, and the recycle time is 4 seconds. Actually, there's a glitch there. This is even better than it should be. But basically, as you add equipment, you can dynamically hover over things to see the effects that it's having right away. In the previous demo, you couldn't see that, so it was a little more obscure as to whether your mods were even doing anything, but now it should be very obvious. And yeah, this one's even bugged, so it's an even better deal for limited time only, so take advantage of the fast ion chargers. But yeah, so stats that get boosted. So here's a static discharge assembly. Stats that get boosted show up in green. Stats that get hurt show up in red. So notice damage is 8 plus 5, but the 8 is red. That's because the damage is supposed to be 15, but this equipment is reducing it. But you can see in the bottom right corner, there's a 50% chance of stunning enemy weapons, and that's in green because that was boosted. It's only supposed to be 25%. So, anyway, so yeah, that should hopefully help make, you know, again, the Games of Titan demo, the next demo down the line is going to be the big one where we try and do even more work on the mods. But there's already been some work now to kind of make them a lot better. Somebody says, how many hours do you have in this game overall, Jay? I have like 3 years. And I couldn't even give you hours. I mean, if you're talking about like playing or programming, I've probably spent a lot more programming than playing. I was about to pause and say maybe it's about equal, but no, I spent a lot more time programming. But yeah, hundreds, if not in the thousands, I'm sure at this point. But it's been a real passion project. So anyway, let's take one more mission here. And then maybe we'll call it an evening. Let's just go for a long one and see what we can make happen. So I'm going to take the biggest deployment I can possibly have. And we got it. All right, let's see what we can do. Oh, also, I think bandits and pirates were supposed to enter battle pre-damaged, not like totally destroyed. Oh, we didn't repair. Let's go repair. Speaking of entering battle pre-damaged, and that was glitched out in the previous versions. It actually existed in the MetalMercs version of this game, but I changed something about how missions load when I was making all the changes in the summer to this, and that feature went away, and I never noticed. And so some people were like, hey, you should make the bandits come in pre-damaged. And I was like, don't they? And I went and I checked, and I was like, oh yeah, they definitely don't. So I fixed that glitch. I fixed the glitch, so we're all good now. Let's roast some people. As fun as the brute machine is, I want to burn people alive. Well, that sounds horrible. Don't judge me. Yeah, we'll bring a brute machine in anyway. Why not? People are racking up the kills. You know what I thought might be fun at some point is to have a pilot competition. Give people like 2 weeks to have pilots run as many missions and get as many kills as possible. Or actually, maybe it's like the person who wins would have the highest kill count for the lowest mission number. So if you could run like 2 missions and have like 28 kills, you have the highest ratio. Something like that could be fun. But anyway. All right. I'm pretty sure we're just going to crush these guys too. All right, light mechs. Your doom is here. Come to kill you. Let's speed this bad boy up a bit. Oh! They see someone. Yeah, there they are. What are we dealing with here? We got a Daredevil, a Pegasus, and they're all just happily running into the smoke. I feel like that guy entered the smoke. Oh, I was gonna say, but he'll never come out, but he did. It is kind of funny when, like, you are fighting these matches and, like, an enemy runs into the smoke, and you think, like, from his allies' perspective, they're like, man, he's brave, and then he just never comes out because he dies in there. And it's like, that's actually kind of terrifying. Like, if you were on a battlefield and you saw giant mechs in, like, as shadows in this giant cloud of smoke, and you just heard gunfire and your friends, like, never responded ever again. It's the perfect kind of terrifying that the Protectorate needs to protect its lands. Anyone else want some? I was trying to, like, zoom in on the guys, but they died too quick. So yeah, you can see here's the smoke shot, so you can disable it if you want. If you pause the game, by the way, and you hover over a weapon, you'll see its range and its details. This stuff doesn't appear when it's unpaused, so when you unpause, you don't see that. One other thing I wanted to show you guys too is if you pressed escape, it used to just say quit the match or abandon or something, but now you actually have like a tabbed options menu, so you can see your contract, you can see where you are and stuff. So this is helpful information just in case you forget. You can see like the location you were on. You can see your list of mechs, so this is, can't really do anything with these, you can just look at them. Oh, by the way, I know that none of the mechs have descriptions yet. That will come eventually. Just takes time to write all that copy. And truthfully, I have some ideas for some of these mechs, but I haven't thought through every single one, so it's like some things are a little vague in my head, but they'll get cleared up. You can look at your pilots, you can look at your parts and your mods, you can see your inventory. There's also an options menu, so you can actually affect sound and music in the battle. This didn't used to be there, so it used to be that like once you're in battle, whatever volume you selected, you're kind of committed to. But yeah, anyway, and you can also affect game speed here too if you want. So game speed is also affected by pressing plus and minus in game, so you can speed up or slow it down. So you can have a really slow, you know, watch these missiles hit this guy. Oh! And then we get the slowest end title ever. Funny, I sped it back up there. That was kind of a cool way to like end the battle, like the slow motion finishing shot. Do we need rockets? Why not? Oh, and I don't know if you guys noticed this, but every item in the upper right corner, you'll see green squares. It's showing you its dimensions in the mod bay. So for instance, a medium laser, that is a 2 wide by 1 tall item. A small blaster is a 1x1, so it's just a 1 tile thing. So you can basically more easily, just from a glance, see like, is an item going to fit in the mech, and do I need to make space, and so on and so forth. So, oh, his autogun got damaged. Let's repair that. All right, I'm going to save my tokens. I'm a big saver. 3 medium mechs. Well, they're going down. I feel like, despite the fact that we've been crushing some pirates, the few significant missions we tried, we definitely got owned. So, I mean, I have concerns that... I always have concerns every time I put a new house out that I've made them way overpowered compared to the rest, so... but I personally like the idea that every house has strengths and weaknesses, and that no house is perfect in all scenarios. But they all have like a way, if you play them a certain way, they'll be good. So we'll see. I don't know. The proof will be in the pudding as you guys get your hands on this demo and start playing it if we need to tweak anything. I'm going to speed things up once again. Oh, there they are. Blow it back down. Who are we dealing with here? A Firebrand, a Wraith, and another Wraith. You know what? I'm not even going to insult you guys. you enemies by using smoke. This will be a straight up fair fight. This is like when the Predator took off all his armor at the end of Predator 1 to fight Arnold. Hand to hand. Like completely unfair fight still, but you know, at least there's a bit more honor in it. Oh yeah, they're just down they go. Like, I think that guy went down to a punch. Crush them. I like the enthusiasm. That guy fought to the bitter end. He was like, maybe I can take him. 9 Protectorate mechs? I think I got this. Jay, could it be programmed to always show slow-mo for the killing shot? That's actually kind of an interesting idea. Theoretically, yes. Practically, I don't know if it would be like more pain than it's worth. But I do kind of like that idea, so maybe. Or maybe even just seeing a slight replay, although that would be harder. It'd be easier to go slow-mo for that last shot. Yeah, that's kind of a fun suggestion. I'll keep it in mind and might show up at some point. Maybe that could be really fun for the Games of Titan. Because that's sort of like, you know, everyone goes... For the Games of Titan, I'm kind of imagining like Demolition Derby Gladiator meets American Gladiators, you know? So... I've got ideas for that. And that's kind of a fun idea. Anyway. Here's a heavy blaster. You can see its size. Might as well take it. Why not? Meets battle bots with arena hazards. Yep. Yeah, you can think battle bots as well. Really don't need any repairs. Gonna keep holding on to this. So, by the way, you can start to see the chain of missions that I've been going on. So now you can see in the mission map a better history of like what you've done and how you got where you are and stuff. So, little things. Oh, this is an escort mission. The problem is every single one of my mechs is speed 3. You know what? It's either gonna work or not. And we will see. Place your bets now, folks. Can I pull it out of the bag? Barbarian. Ooh, the Barbarian's actually pretty cool. This guy is just like, all he wants to do is get close and punch you. And between punches, it's just a non-stop barrage of machine gun fire. That's kind of a fun design. And this guy is a Harbinger. Okay, so I think the convoy is going to move slightly faster than me. The question is, where are they going? I'm just going to beeline it over there and hope that I keep pace. Maybe the smoke shots will actually be enough. Like, maybe it will sort of obscure the enemy. Nope, they're literally already firing on the convoy. We're kind of arriving a little late to this party. I mean, I don't have any concerns that I'm going to be destroyed, but I don't know if this convoy is long for this world. Oh, that was a sweet Battle Fist slide there. From that guy. I was going to say maybe they can just make a break for it, but there's too many enemies. Mission failed. That entire convoy is going down. So yeah, I think ultimately, even as a Protectorate mercenary, I don't know if you'd want lighter Protectorate mechs, or you might want some like Imperium or Union mechs, but it's like you probably want a mix of mechs. You know, it is fun to just to go in with basically a Steiner Scout Lance, right? That's basically what we've been doing. Like, let's call it what it is. But yeah, we need a couple of faster mechs, slightly faster mechs. We didn't pass a single mission today. See, I programmed this more than I actually play it. Anyway, I think we're gonna stop it here for tonight. Just because, again, you know, like, mostly just playing here tonight to connect with you guys a bit, answer some questions, show off the game. Yeah, so if you are a patron or have done a one-time donation, so if you're on that list either, then you should be getting a message from me shortly this evening that will have this version of the game, Windows, Linux, and experimental Mac version. Enjoy them. If you're not on the Discord, like if you do encounter any bugs or issues or anything like that, or have any feedback, you can hop on the Discord and chime in. But other than that, I hope you guys really do enjoy this update. It's been really fun having you guys along for the ride, and I feel like this new demo is not only one of the best performing, like we got the engine performance wise to a place that it hasn't been before, but it's starting to hit a point where, like, like when this was a MetalMercs game, it had so much in it, and I kind of smashed it and took a bunch of stuff out when I had to remake it, because it's sort of like I had to like redesign all this stuff, and I couldn't do it all at once, so I had to do it one piece at a time. So when I released the first Union demo, I really did feel like, I'm glad people are enjoying it, but I do feel sad that it's like there's so much more that needs to be in this game that isn't there. But I feel like it's finally starting to get back to where it used to be, and to where I feel like it's like, yeah, like there's a lot of stuff in here for people to explore and have fun with. So I hope you guys enjoy it. And there's a couple more questions in the chat. I'll just respond to those real quickly. Here, let me I can even there, and I can actually see the chat in the stream. So somebody says, let's see, the game doesn't pull any punches. Wah wah. But I appreciate a good dad joke. Are there any plans on adding more mech customization options, a la engines, heat sinks? It's not impossible. So currently, I think just for sort of gameplay reasons, those may not appear soon-ish, because my idea going into this is I didn't want mechs to all just be an empty shell that are interchangeable. So any 600-ton mech is identical to any other 600-ton mech. And if you let people totally change the armor values, totally change the engines, totally change jump jets, totally change everything else, then basically any mech can be any mech. So it's like mechs kind of lose their identity. So, but that said, I think modding mechs is fun. So I tried to find a middle ground where, like, there's certain parts of the frame that are locked in. You can actually mod heat sinks by using mods. So the cooling mods, you can get a small, medium, and large cooling unit, and those add 1, 2, or 4 heat sinks to a mech. So you can actually adjust the heat sinks. You can't adjust armor, you can't adjust jump jets, you can't take off battle fists or smoke shots. All that stuff's sort of hardwired in right now. It's conceivable that might change in future. The other thing is that the game is designed to be very moddable, not just modding mechs, but like people can make add-ons and mods and stuff like that. So at some point I might do a push to try to like re-indoctrinate the community into how to do that. With MetalMercs, people were making their own mods. It's kind of slowed down a bit now because I keep changing the engine, so you don't want to do too much right now because your mod will probably be incompatible with the next version of the next demo, But yeah, like in theory, somebody could make a mod where it's like change engine speeds or change armor, and you could just plug it in, and now all of a sudden it's like you're playing MetalMercs, but you have those features. So that's something fans could definitely add. Somebody else asks, is this Unity? Oh, dear God, no. Is it Godot? I kind of wish. It's actually in Pygame. The entire game is made in Pygame. So I knew about Godot when I started making this, but the very first tech demo for this game was actually made in Unity. And I was debating whether to use Unity or Pygame, which I actually knew from something else. And I ended up going with Pygame. But shortly after that, I started to get into Godot a little. And I don't make anything in Godot, but I've definitely watched videos, and I've tried to make like a demo or two in it. And like in hindsight, if I were to start this game today, I probably would make it in Godot. But there are thousands upon thousands of lines of code right now, and it's like to port that into Godot is something that's probably not going to happen soon. But I have kind of thought down the line, like in my mind, this is a long-term project. It's kind of become my hobby. Like I need another hobby, but it is, and I like working on it. And it's like, in my mind, I'm not like, I'm going to put another year in, publish it, and then I'll be done with it. I'm like, I don't know when I'll stop working on this, but I'll probably work on this for years and continue to make it better and add more stuff. As long as it's feasible to do so, as long as people keep wanting to play it and stuff, and there's support and it can make it happen. So it's conceivable that one day I might be like, okay, this summer I'm going to port it to Godot, because it'd be cool to like one day have this like on consoles or something. Maybe, who knows? Who knows? I mean, it's a pipe dream now, but maybe it'll happen one day. So it's not in Godot, but one day it might be. Are the values of weapons and mechs similar to BattleTech? Similar-ish. So truthfully, when I started making the game, I kind of used the BattleTech weapons as a starting point. And when I originally started to design the weapons, I kind of made them crappier than the BattleTech weapons so that there was room for them to expand. Because one of the things you might have noticed in MetalMercs is that there are level 1 and level 2 weapons, and level 2 weapons are slightly better versions of level 1. Well, in a couple of demos, if you look at the demo plan the release plan I put up on Patreon, the next demo that's coming out is the Games of Titan. The next demo that's supposed to come out after that is the Orion Corporate, which is the last of the 5 houses that exist in the core. And then the next demo after that is something called the Great Expedition. And without spoiling it too much, that is where the core is going to go beyond the core, and you're going to find better than level 2 weapons out there. And there's lore reasons for why that's the case, which I'll get into in the future. But essentially, the BattleTech weapons were sort of a nice starting point in my mind, but my weapons have all sorts of parameters the BattleTech ones don't, like recharge speed and stun and things like that. And they are designed, level 1 versions at least, were kind of designed to be crappy versions of BattleTech weapons, with the idea being that eventually there might be weapons that are like as good or better than the sort of BattleTech equivalents. So they're sort of like cousins, the weapon systems you could maybe think of. Somebody says, any plans for vehicles, infantry, air support? Yes, yes, and yes. And I can't say too much else at this point, but at least for the next few demos, it is going to remain primarily mech focused. But I mean, the convoy missions already have vehicles. Vehicles will probably, I mean, they'll always be second to mechs in the universe, so you may not see them too much, but more on that is coming. So yes. Let's see. Someone says, I'm planning for a Godot project, a mishmash of Shadowrun and Cyber Knights. That sounds really cool. I always loved the Shadowrun Super Nintendo game. I love that game, but it also frustrated me because I never knew where to go, and it's one of those ones where you get stuck early on, you're done. I always thought it'd be cool to like have a game like that, but have it be more open. We're sort of like this, where like you're not going to get stuck in MetalMercs. You just take a contract, go to a planet, fight, come back. Like there's only a few places to go, and they all kind of keep you on track. So Shadowrun was cool because it had like a neat story and stuff, but I don't know about you guys, but I'm not necessarily the best at sorting out, you know, when it's like an adventure game, like where do I put the strange coin I found on the bus? Like what purpose does it have? And I just wander around for like 4 hours, and I'm like, well, it's a fun game, but this is as far as I can get without a walkthrough. So a more open game in the Shadowrun style would be really cool. Yeah, and so that's why you want it to be a sandbox RPG roguelike. That sounds like the way to go. Because if you could capture like the coolness of Shadowrun in a game like that, I think that sounds fun to me. I'd play it. So yeah. Anyway, guys, all right, I'm gonna sign off here. Thank you guys so much for stopping in. Keep an eye out again very soon. I'm gonna get working on just getting all the links out and getting the Patreon post and all that out momentarily, so you'll be able to play tonight if you want. And happy hunting. All right, guys, we will see you next time. Peace.